Greetings, bookish friends, and welcome to today's literary escapade. Brace yourselves for an unforgettable adventure through the pages of Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. Act 1, pages 1. In the first part of Act 1, Didi and Gogo are alone on stage. Gogo is sitting on the mound of earth trying to remove one of his boots and complaining about his feet, which are painful. He is having a great deal of trouble removing his boot. Didi and Gogo discuss where they have recently been. While Gogo's affliction is with his feet, Didi has bladder problems and pain. While their conversations keep coming back to these two physical ailments, they interject philosophical topics as well. They discuss the Bible and biblical topics such as maps of the Holy Lands and the Gospels. Didi asks where Gogo spent the night, and Gogo replies that he spent the night in a ditch, but that he was not beaten. They discuss a pastime in which they were among the first of those who stood together on top of the Eiffel Tower. Gogo continues to struggle with his boot. His foot is quite painful. He points out to Didi that his fly is unbuttoned, and Didi buttons it. Didi then becomes preoccupied with his hat. He takes the hat off, peers into it, shakes it several times, and repeats the process. He seems to be looking for an object inside the hat, but there is nothing in the hat. Gogo finally gets his boot off. He follows the same process Didi did with the hat. Gogo looks into the boot, shakes it, peers into it again, and then stares ahead of himself off into space. Didi and Gogo continue to discuss the Bible as they deal with boot and hat. They talk about going to the Holy Land where Gogo says they will swim and be happy. Didi tells Gogo he should have been a poet. Gogo, referring to his disreputable appearance, says, "I was." Isn't that obvious? Didi turns the conversation to the two thieves and our Savior being crucified at the same time. Gogo is not responsive to this line of conversation and begins to talk of leaving. At the end of this section, on page 10 of the play, Gogo again says directly that they should leave this spot where they have been waiting for Godot. Didi says they can't leave. When Gogo asks why, Didi reminds him that they are waiting for Godot. Act 1, pages 10-14. At the beginning of this section, Gogo and Didi seem to notice the tree, which they identify as a willow and a weeping one at that. They begin to discuss whether or not they are actually in the right physical location to meet Godot. They confer about what they will do if he does not appear, which is to come back again to wait for him some more. They do not discuss any proactive alternative in which they will go off to seek Godot. They argue about their plans. They question not only whether they are in the right location, but whether they are there on the correct day. Dee makes a show of looking for some kind of written confirmation of their assignation with Godot, but finds only miscellaneous rubbish in his pockets. As is his wont, Didi sits down and nods off to sleep while Gogo paces in great agitation, trying to assess their situation. As soon as he notices that Didi is asleep, Gogo abruptly wakes him. Didi was dreaming and wants to discuss his dream, but Gogo is not interested. Didi then attempts to regale Gogo with a bawdy tale, but Gogo will not listen to that either. They are angry at one another, but do make up. They then decide to consider ending their discomfort and limbo state by hanging themselves from the small tree on stage. They are at first pleased by the idea that attempted hangings may give them erections. Then they decide that the tree can't hold both of them. In the midst of these considerations, they discuss what they expect from Godot when he finally arrives. They are very uncertain as to what they will ask for, or whether Godot will consent to their wishes. They suddenly hear something off stage which momentarily frightens them. Gogo declares that he is hungry, and Didi offers him a carrot, but gives him a turnip instead, for which he apologizes. He searches for a carrot, finds one, and gives it to Gogo, telling him it's their last one. Didi and Gogo begin to discuss their present situation as Gogo eats the carrot. Gogo asks if they are tied to Godot. They talk hopelessly of their situation, declaring that there is no use struggling, and that there is no use struggling, and that their essential condition will not change. Act 1, pages 15-19. This is the section of the first act in which the next two characters appear. Pazzo is a wealthy man, a landowner, and Lucky is his servant. Pazzo has a long rope around Lucky's neck, which has made an ugly sore on the neck. Lucky is laden down with carrying many parcels and possessions for Pazzo. Strangely enough, Pazzo is driving Lucky before him with a whip instead of leading him with the rope. When Gogo and Didi see them enter the area, they are frightened and huddle together. Lucky enters first with Pazzo behind holding the rope. Leash. Pazzo snaps the whip off. Stage. In response, Lucky crosses the stage and exits the other side. But when Pazzo sees Didi and Gogo, he stops and jerks the rope to bring Lucky back. Lucky falls for the first of many times. Didi and Gogo are frightened, but want to assist. Didi actually begins to move towards Lucky, but Gogo stops him. Pazzo warns them that Lucky is dangerous, particularly with strangers. Gogo asks Didi if this man is Godot. Gogo seems not to remember the name of the man for whom they have waited so long. Pazzo introduces himself. Didi and Gogo confirm that he is not Mr. Godot. The three of them discuss Pazzo's name and confirm that they don't know one another. Pazzo questions them as to who Godot is. They describe Godot as a kind of acquaintance. They say they probably wouldn't recognize Godot. Pazzo asks about the fact that the two tramps are waiting for Godot on his, Puzzo's, land. Didi and Gogo say they meant no harm and were just waiting along a public road, which they all concur is acceptable. Pazzo notices that Lucky, who has fallen to the ground, is asleep. He jerks Lucky's rope and commands him to get up. He issues several commands to Lucky to present him with various objects or articles of clothing. For each individual command, poor Lucky has to put down everything he's carrying to oblige. He then delivers the requested item to Pazzo, returns to his place, and picks up each parcel again to wait for the next command from his master. When Pazzo wants the next item, he again commands Lucky to bring it to him. Once more, Lucky deposits all his burdens on the ground and brings Pazzo the one item he has asked for. This process is repeated whenever Pazzo wants something. Pazzo does not ask for more than one single item at a time, but repeatedly forces Lucky to go through this complicated ritual to retrieve and present items one possession at a time to his master. Pazzo dines on chicken and wine from one of the parcels Lucky carries. Lucky is so exhausted that he falls asleep standing up. Didi and Gogo are curious about Lucky and begin to walk all around him, inspecting him while Pazzo dines. Lucky begins to sag to the ground, startles himself awake, and begins the process again. Gogo and Didi ask one another what may be the matter with Lucky and why he does not put the bags and parcels down. They notice the sore on his neck from the rope. They continue to discuss Lucky's appearance. They try to speak to Lucky. Pazzo, who has finished eating by now, demands that they leave Lucky alone because Lucky wants to rest. Yet Pazzo continues to command Lucky to bring him objects one at a time. In between each demand, Lucky stands holding all the remaining parcels and objects he is carrying. Pazzo has left a pile of chicken bones from his meal, and Gogo is eyeing them greedily. Gogo timidly asks Pazzo if he can have the bones. Pazzo admits that he no longer needs them. Surprisingly, he defers to Lucky as the carrier of the bones. He says that Lucky should be consulted as to whether or not Go may have the bones. At Pozzo's direction, Gogo asks Lucky if he may have the discarded chicken bones. Lucky does not respond. Pozzo prompts Lucky, who still does not respond. Pozzo then preempts Lucky's supposed authority in the matter and tells Gogo he may take the bones, which he does. Didi expresses outrage at how badly Lucky is being treated by Pozzo. Gogo, while still chewing the newly acquired bones, agrees with Didi. Pozzo remarks that this assessment is harsh and asks Didi how old he is. When he does not get an answer, he asks Gogo what Didi's age is. Gogo responds that Didi is 11. Pozzo decides to move on after smoking a pipe and knocking out the ashes on the ground. Gogo pockets the chicken bones. Didi suggests that he and Gogo leave. Gogo demurs. Pozzo continues to make constant demands on Lucky for various services. Didi again, more forcefully, states that he wants to leave. Pozzo says he hopes he is not driving them away, and Gogo assures him they are in no hurry. Didi asserts once again that he will leave. Act 1, pages 19-22. Didi has expressed, again, his desire to leave. Pozzo says Didi can no longer endure Pozzo's presence, but declares that he doesn't care. He points out that it is still daylight, which he takes to mean that there is still daylight, which he takes to mean that there is still an opportunity to accomplish something. He asks about their impending appointment with Godot, who Pozzo characterizes as having the future of Didi and Gogo in his hands. Didi questions Pozzo as to how he knows this. Go, still fretting about Lucky, asks why Lucky does not put down his bags. Pozzo ignores the question and says he would also be happy to meet Godot. He asserts that he becomes more enriched with each new person that he meets, even, rather unflatteringly, these two old infirm tramp. Gogo again asks why Lucky does not put the bags and parcels down when they are not actively traveling. Pozzo says he would be surprised if Lucky did so and does not answer the question. Didi reiterates the question. Pozzo chides them for their questions, but they persist. Dramatically, Pozzo prepares to answer their questions. Pozzo says that Lucky wants to impress his master so that Pozzo will keep him. Pozzo explains that he is on the way to sell Lucky at the fair, although Pozzo declares that a more effective way to rid himself of Lucky would be to kill him. Lucky begins to cry, which the others notice. Pozzo gives Gogo a handkerchief with which to comfort Lucky. Gogo hesitates, and Didi volunteers. The two squabble childishly over the handkerchief, and which one of them will go to Lucky with it. Gogo eventually approaches Lucky and wipes Lucky's eyes with the handkerchief. Lucky kicks Gogo violently in the shin, and Gogo, howling, hobbles around the stage. Pozzo commands Lucky to return the handkerchief, which he does. Gogo complains about Lucky, and Pozzo reminds Gogo he was warned that Lucky is dangerous to strangers. Gogo complains dramatically about his bruised shin, and Didi insincerely volunteers to carry Gogo on his back if necessary. Pozzo notes that Gogo has replaced Lucky as the one crying. He comments that everyone weeps at one time or another and that sorrow is universal. Didi suggests that Gogo try to walk. Gogo does so and walks over and spits on Lucky. Act 1, pages 22-31. In this section of Act 1 of the play, further examination of the relationship of Pozzo and Lucky takes place. Surprisingly, Pozzo credits Lucky with teaching him wonderful things. He then demands his hat of Lucky, and the same process is repeated as when Pozzo has asked for other things. Lucky has to put down all the parcels he carries, bring the hat to Pozzo, and then return to his place and pick up all the items once again. Didi and Gogo criticize Pozzo for his plans to sell such a faithful servant. At this point, Pazzo begins to lament that he is in great discomfort and going mad because of Lucky. Didi and Gogo now turn on Lucky as responsible for this situation. Pazzo then reverses himself and says to forget all he said. He looks for his pipe as Gogo and Didi talk together about what a terrible evening this has been. Didi exits to use the bathroom. Pazzo thinks he's left for good and protests. Gogo explains that Didi is in the bathroom and Pazzo is pacified. Gogo invites Pazzo to come to look at something. They look off into the distance and Gogo comments, "It's all over." Didi returns sullenly and pushes Lucky out of the way. Pazzo notices his mood. Gogo says it's a pity that Didi missed what they saw, although what they saw is not stated. The atmosphere becomes suddenly calm, and they all look at the sky, which is still not dark. Pazzo comments that were he waiting for Godot. He would not leave. After some additional banter, Pazzo says that he does have to leave. Didi, still depressed, says that time has stopped. Gogo remarks to Pazzo that everything seems dark to Didi that day. Pazzo comments that this may be so, except for the sky, which is still not dark. They continue to look at the sky. They continue to wait, and Didi and Gogo say they are used to waiting. Pazzo asks how they feel about him, which surprises them greatly. They assure him their feelings are positive, and Pazzo thanks them most sincerely. Pazzo asks how he could assist Didi and Gogo in their tedious wait. Gogo suggests money, and Didi declares the two are not beggars. Pazzo decides to have Lucky entertain them. Pazzo tells Lucky to dance, which he does. The three discuss Lucky again and end up at questioning why he continues to carry such a burdensome load. Pazzo tells Lucky to think and gives him his hat, which he apparently needs in order to think. Didi carefully puts the hat on Lucky from behind, careful not be kicked. Pazzo commands Lucky to think. Lucky resists to some degree, but the others attack him, and Lucky recites his text. It is a long, unintelligible monologue. When Lucky slows down, Dai seizes the hat, and Lucky falls silent. The others are relieved and panting. Pazzo tramples the offending hat. Lucky is so weak that he falls if not supported by the others. He eventually regains his senses and can walk and carry his parcels again. After many goodbyes, Pazzo and Lucky move off. Lucky falls and Pazzo abuses him with curses and names. Once Gogo and Didi are alone, Gogo again suggests that they leave too. Didi again says they can't leave. When Gogo asks why, Didi again states that they are still waiting for Godot. Act 1, pages 31-35. Gogo and Didi discuss their perception that Pazzo and Lucky have changed. Gogo says he did not know them before, implying that the idea of noticing change in them would be nonsense since they have only just met the two for the first and only time. Didi says they did know them, and that Gogo just forgets everything. Gogo begins to have pain in his good foot. He sits on the mound. A boy calls to him and enters. He asks if Didi is Mr. Albert, to which Didi replies for some reason that he is, and invites the boy to approach. Gogo asks what he wants. The boy is hesitant, and Didi commands him to come forward. The boy mentions Mr. Godot. Didi asks if the boy has a message from Godot, and the boy replies that he does. Both Didi and Gogo are asking the boy questions, and the boy becomes confused. The boy says he was afraid and that he has been there for some time, apparently listening to and observing Didi, Gogo, Pazzo, and Lucky. They establish that he was afraid of Pazzo's whip. The boy attempts to speak, but Gogo and Didi interrupt and converse with one another. Didi tells the boy to speak. The boy informs Didi and Gogo that Mr. Godot will not come this evening but will surely come tomorrow. Didi asks if that is all, and the boy says yes. Didi asks the boy what he does. The boy relates that he minds the goats, that he is not beaten, and that he is fed fairly well. They ask where he sleeps, and he says that he sleeps in the loft with his brother, who is beaten. They dismiss him. He asks what he is to tell Mr. Godot. They tell him to tell Godot that he saw them. The boy exits. Didi seems relieved. Gogo leaves his boots, saying they are for someone with smaller feet. Didi protests that Gogo can't go barefoot. Gogo retorts that Christ did. Didi challenges this comparison to Christ. The Christ did. Didi challenges this comparison to Christ. Didi encourages Gogo, saying that everything will be better tomorrow because the boy said that Godot will surely come tomorrow. They discuss moving off separately. They decide not to after 50 years together. They decide to go. However, they do not move. They stay in the same comfortable, albeit undesirable, place once again. Act 2, pages 35-44. Act 2 opens with Gogo examining his boots. Lucky's hat is still on stage. The tree, which was bare in Act 1, now has 4 or 5 scrawny leaves on it. Gogo goes to each side of the stage and appears to be looking for something off in the distance. Didi mentions a dog, and Gogo begins to sing loudly about a dog which was beaten to death for stealing a crust of bread from the kitchen. He sings the song several times. He becomes agitated and begins to move around the stage. He peers off stage, both to the left and right. Didi sees him and offers to embrace him, but Gogo pushes him away. Didi questions Gogo. Gogo retorts with commands not to touch him, not question him, but also not to leave him. They finally embrace. Didi keeps asking Gogo who beat him, but Gogo does not answer. They talk idly about how they feel when they are together and when they are apart. Gogo says he feels better away from Didi, and Didi asks why he comes back if that's the case. Gogo says he does not know. Didi says it's because Gogo can't defend himself. Gogo protests that there were 10 men assaulting him. Didi says he meant that he would keep Gogo from doing whatever it was that offended those who beat him. Gogo asserts that he did nothing, and Didi asks why. Then, was he beaten? They bicker back and forth. Didi says that Gogo must be glad to be back with him. They declare that they are both happy. Gogo asks what they will do now that they are both happy. Didi says they will wait for Godot. Gogo groans, but Didi says things are different than yesterday. He points out the tree, which now has leaves. He asks if Gogo remembers Pazzo and Lucky. They discuss Pazzo and Lucky, although Gogo is not at all convinced their encounter was just yesterday. They talk about where they are, in the same place. They talk about how others live their lives, and that every man has his cross. Again, Gogo asks what they should do now, and the answer is again, wait for Godot. They have conversation about what they will do, what they will think about, and that they continue as always. They notice the tree, which now has leaves. They argue about whether or not they were really there, in that same place the day before. They say they were not, so they try to figure out where they were. They decide that they were in the same condition, and have been so, talking about the same issues for 50 years. They discuss Lucky and Pazzo. They look at the wound on Gogo's leg. Didi asks where Gogo's boots are, but Gogo does not know. Didi finds the boots, which Gogo appears not to recognize and denies are his. He puts them on and they fit. He declares that someone else took his tight boots and left these in their place. Gogo suggests they leave. Didi says they can't leave because they are waiting for Godot. Act 2, pages 44-54. Gogo is in despair that they are still in the same place. Didi offers him a radish and tells him they have radishes and turnips, but no carrots. Gogo accepts a radish, but it is black. He complains that it is not pink and gives it back to Didi. Gogo says he will go get a carrot, but does not move. Didi puts on his boots with Gogo's help. He admits they do not hurt, and even says they are too big. Gogo sits down and tries to sleep, but Didi is singing loudly. Eventually, Gogo sleeps, but wakes with a start. Didi comforts him. They walk about. Gogo says they should go. Didi replies that they cannot, because they are waiting for Godot. They discuss that it is not yet night, but when night falls, they can leave. They find Lucky's hat, which reassures them that they are in the right spot for their meeting with Godot. Didi and Gogo trade hats back and forth several times, each time adjusting the hats they are wearing. They model the hats and walk back and forth wearing them. Didi suggests they play Pazzo and Lucky. Didi pretends to be Lucky sagging under the weight of parcels and bags. He invites Gogo to curse him. Gogo does so, and they laugh and continue their game of imitation. Suddenly, they hear someone approaching and declare that it must be Godot at last. They attempt to hide behind the tree, which does not hide them. Gogo asks what he should do. They decide that one of them will move off to the extreme left and one to the extreme right of the stage instead of huddling together as they have done in the past. They do not see anyone coming. They become annoyed with one another and begin to call one another names. Finally, they stop their spat and fall into one another's arms once again. They decide to do exercises to pass the time. Pazzo and Lucky reappear, but Pazzo is now blind and Lucky is now mute. Lucky has all the same burdens. The rope Pazzo holds is shorter now, so he can follow Lucky more closely now that he, Pozzo, is blind. The two of them fall together amongst their bags and parcels. Gogo asks if it is Godot who has joined them at last. Pazzo calls for help. Gogo and Didi are delighted and think Godot has arrived and that their waiting is over. Then Didi recognizes Pozzo and explains to Gogo that this is not Godot after all. Pazzo continues to call for help. Didi points out that Pazzo can't get up. Once again, Gogo says they should leave. Didi says they cannot because they are waiting for Godot. The two Trumps wonder if Pazzo has any more chicken bones and plot to bargain their help for favors. They have some concerns that Lucky, now known to be dangerous, might intervene. Pazzo still calls for help as they contemplate beating Lucky in his sleep to neutralize his danger. They discuss their situation waiting for Godot while Pazzo continues to call for help. Didi goes on and on about the long hours and the fact that they have valiantly kept their appointment where others would not have done so. Pazzo again calls for help, and this time offers to pay for it. Didi and Gogo finally respond to this last overture and begin to bargain with Pozzo. Eventually, they help him to his feet, and he falls again. Gogo says he is leaving, but Didi begs him to stay. They finally agree to leave together and to go to the Pyrenees Mountains. But this plan does not last long. Didi and Got last long. Didi and Gogo fall to the ground where Pozzo still is. Pazzo eventually crawls away from Didi and Gogo, who are still on the ground. They decide to call for Pazzo, who does not answer. They try calling Pazzo by the name of Abel, and he responds by calling for help. Then they call for Cain, and Pazzo again calls for help in response. Didi and Gogo discuss getting up off the ground, and Pazzo continues to call for help. Gogo suggests that they leave. Yet again, Didi says they cannot because they are waiting for Godot. Act 2, pages 54-58. Didi and Gogo help Pazzo up. They explain who they are and congratulate themselves for helping Pazzo, who was concerned they were highwaymen. They realize that Pazzo is blind. Pozo asks if it is evening, and Didi and Gogo puzzle over this and argue the point with one another. They assist Pozo, who says his blindness came on suddenly. He asks where they are and where they are going. Didi and Gogo describe the very same place they have been throughout the play. Pozo asks for his servant, wondering why Lucky did not respond when he was called. Pozo asks that Didi and Gogo check on Lucky to see if he is all right. They decide to send Gogo after Lucky. Gogo sees that Lucky is breathing and begins to kick him. He hurts his own foot, and Lucky rouses. Pozo asks what is wrong. Didi tries to explain to Pozo that they all met yesterday, but Pozo denies meeting anyone yesterday. Pozo commands Lucky to get up and pick up all his burdens. Pozo again goes through the exercise of asking for one item at a time, which necessitates Lucky putting all his bundles down, finding the object in question, and then picking them all up again. He has to repeat this tedious process over and over again with each separate request from Pozo. Didi asks that Lucky sing or recite before they go. Pozo becomes irritated, explaining that Lucky is dumb just as he himself is now blind. They leave. Didi watches them go and announces when they are off stage that they have fallen once again. Didi realizes Gogo is asleep and shakes him awake. Gogo complains. They wonder if Pozo is really blind. They even wonder if Pozo is really Godot. Gogo is again struggling with his boots, but eventually falls asleep again. Act 2, pages 58-60. The boy who visited Didi and Gogo in the clearing yesterday comes back again, and again asks for Mr. Albert. Didi asks if the boy does not recognize him, which he says he does not. He says this is his first time coming, and affirms that he does have a message from Mr. Godot. Didi guesses that the message is that Godot won't come tonight, but will tomorrow, supposedly without fail. The boy confirms this. Didi asks if the boy met anyone on his way to them, and he says he did not. He asks the boy what Godot does. The boy responds that Godot does nothing. Didi asks if Godot has a beard. The boy says he does, and that the beard is white. The boy asks what message he is to give Mr. Godot. Didi says to tell Godot that the boy saw him. The boy runs off stage. Gogo wakes and asks what is wrong. Didi replies that nothing is wrong. Gogo says he is leaving, and Didi says he is too. Gogo asks how long he was asleep, but Didi does not know. They discuss where to go. Gogo wishes to go far away, but Didi says they cannot because they have to come back tomorrow to wait for Godot. They discuss the tree again, and the option of hanging themselves again comes up. They don't have rope, however, and Gogo's belt is too short. They discuss various options. They decide to bring more rope when they return tomorrow. They discuss splitting up again. They decide to hang themselves the next day unless Godot comes. They agree to go, but again do not move from where they are standing.